How are you?
Good.
Good. Awesome. Well, I wanted to come and meet with you. Some individuals had asked me to reach out and talk to you. You were in the media here in Idaho all over the place lately.
Indeed.
And I saw the headline that was posted, and it kind of caught my attention because it seemed a little odd. But basically, the headline, to paraphrase, was Meridian man doing rally in Portland. Portland man dies. Now the Meridian man is doing a rally here in Boise. And I thought, well, that's kind of an interesting way to put that. I had followed the gentleman in Portland that was killed, and I thought it seems like it happened late at night, and he was walking somewhere, and then he was killed. It didn't really seem to be part of what you were doing. And so that led to more in the article about, ties to Russia, and the Russia, what is it called? Russia Today news agency had shared some video that you had done. And so I thought, okay, I'm going to reach out to this guy. The media is definitely painting you in a light that is not positive, you could say. And so I wanted to give you the opportunity, and we'll kind of talk and ask some questions about, who you are and how these Trump caravans came about. And so that's kind of our goal today. And so feel free to, let's clarify anything that you want to clarify that was put in the media, and we'll go from there. So I guess to start, they said that you did this rally in Portland, which was I guess a caravan. I don't know, what do you call them?
Yeah, you could say a caravan or just a Trump parade or.
Because you're not marching in person. You're like
we're just
driving around, yeah. Right? So caravan's probably an accurate description of what you do. Okay, so you did this caravan in Portland, and the media was said, okay, well, he did this one in Portland, somebody got killed, and now he's going to come to Boise and do one. Now, have you done caravans in Boise before?
Yeah, I've actually done 2 caravans. One in, I think it was July, and then I did one in August. And then 1 week after the one in August, I did one in Portland. Okay. And I wasn't going to do Portland, but because I have so much family there and I grew up in Portland, I decided to do it in Portland after some consideration with what was going on in Portland. But I felt like just because I grew up there and I spent so much time there, and I moved from Belarus when I moved to Portland, I was 6. And so I grew up, that's where my childhood was. I grew up, I went to grade school there, middle school, high school, and then after high school, I moved to Idaho. So I grew up, I have a lot of friends there, I have a lot of churches I've attended. And I felt like that city needs a voice. That city has a lot of good people. I know those good people. And I know that if I decide to do an event down there, they will show up because they want to be just as heard, and they're frustrated and they have no outlet besides talking to somebody on the couch or talking to their friends. They don't have anything they can do publicly to say, we don't like what's going on. And after doing some consideration and thinking about it, I said, I grew up there. I lived there almost as much as I did in Idaho. I should do an event there. And that's why I ended up doing one in Portland.
Okay, so there's a lot to unpack in there. You're saying that you moved to the United States when you were 6 years old.
6 years old,
so
yeah.
You're not a recent immigrant from Russia or anything?
No, far from it.
Okay.
I do speak fluent Russian.
Okay.
I can read, write, and read in Russian, but I grew up in the U.S.
Okay. Since you were 6 years old?
Since I was 6.
Okay. How old are you now?
I'm 33.
So you've lived in the U.S. for a little while.
Yep.
Okay. So and I don't know, I guess from the media articles that we had read, they almost seem to try to be painting you as a recent immigrant, and that you're some Russian KGB agent. I mean, do you have ties to the Russian government?
Absolutely, no.
Okay.
I know more about what's going on in the U.S. because I live here than what's going on even in Belarus with all the protests and in Russia.
Okay.
Our parents moved here because we like U.S. We wanted an escape from communism. We wanted to, change a life.
Okay.
And we moved here for that reason, to have some freedom. And when we see resemblance of where we came from, the things that we didn't like, and we moved to the U.S., it bothers us. We're like, we don't want it to be, another communist country, another socialism country. And for that reason, we decided to move here and decided to be, living in this country. But it came to a point where just sitting and complaining just doesn't do it. You got to go out and do stuff because it's going to be really bad if Trump doesn't win this election. And so we're just going out there and speaking up,
And so that's why you started doing the caravans, was to
exactly
show your support for the president?
Exactly. And there was, at first it was supposed to be just, some friends and family members. I wanted to just do something together to show our support. Just say, not in our private, quarters, but somewhere publicly say, we support our president. We love our country. But there's a lot of patriots. They all have the same, idea. They all love our country. They all love our president. And there's a lot of people that voted for him, and they wanted to join. They were on the same note that we love our president, want to support our president any way we can, and speak out against the things that we don't like in this country.
Yeah.
And that's why we put this event together, the first one, and it was a success. A lot of people showed up. They were also afraid in Boise the first time because of what was happening at that time in Seattle, and then slowly coming to Portland. But they showed up, and then when we did the second event, the event doubled. We had some people that reached out and wanted to participate, and then the next one was Portland, because I grew up there. So it was just kind of a natural transition to be a change, not just in your house or your church or family or friends that you hang out with, but be a change to the community. Go out and speak up if you don't like something, or if you like something, do the same.
Yeah, and I think that was part of, one of my questions, and you kind of talked about it now, and I know some other people that have reached out to me had the same question as, you did a couple in Idaho, you live here in Idaho, how in the world did you end up in Portland? And nobody was really sure at that time, and so, but you're saying you grew up in Portland, you went to school in Portland, you have a lot of family in Portland and friends.
Exactly.
And so between you talking to them and other people, you decided, hey, we want to go have a caravan in Portland.
Yeah,
Okay.
yeah, and it was. I knew that there was going to be a little bit of protests because of the Antifa and the BLM that was literally taking over Portland and burning it down. But at the same time, growing up there, I knew how many good people there were. I know how many God-loving Americans there were, and I knew that if they had a voice, they'd go up and stand for it. They'll go up and bring their flag, and they'll come and support our president, support our country. And I knew that there was going to be some pushback, but in the end, there was a lot of good people there, and they just came out. I mean, you look at the videos we have there. If you just use the hashtag Oregon Trump 2020 on Facebook, you'll see the event. You'll see how many good people there are in Portland. And I knew in my heart that was the case, but I just wanted to show people that publicly that is the case.
Yeah.
That there's a fact. It's not just an idea.
Okay. So let's talk about the Portland event a little bit, because obviously, as we all know, that day a Trump supporter was killed, and the guy who ended up killing himself, I believe, or got shot by the police. I can't remember exactly. Mm-hmm. But you post the route that you were going to do, or it's determined ahead of time how you guys are going to drive through an area, right, for your caravan. And so where did that route take you when you went to Portland? Did it go into downtown or outside of downtown?
So the original route was supposed to go around downtown.
Okay.
That was the published official route.
So you publicly posted the route ahead of time.
And we posted it even later. I was supposed to post it, I think, Friday, and I posted it Saturday after my speech. Just to give the protesters or the opposition less time to organize and plan for whatever they were trying to do. And I was getting harassed for that. I was saying, you're not doing this because you're a fraud, you're a scammer, you're not going to do this. And then in the end, I did do it. I did post it, and I did it all for security reasons. And the whole route was supposed to go around the downtown on the 405. And the route was so long, there was people on the 405 bridge already, on the 405 bridge in Portland downtown, and people haven't even left Clackamas. That's how long the caravan was. That's how many people were still en route. But by the time I made it closer to downtown, the BLM have blocked off some of those key exits to the 405, and we were forced into downtown, not by choice, but by force.
Okay.
And there was actually a few people that were in the caravan that were participating in it. They've actually stopped and directed traffic away from downtown, trying to prevent. Otherwise, there would have been even more people coming through downtown, because they were blocking out entrances and exits and so forth. So, in a way, BLM itself and Antifa people direct the traffic into downtown, and there's footage of that as well.
Okay. Yeah, I was going to say, if you have footage of that, we'd like to see that footage or
Yeah.
pictures or whatever. I only saw one video, and I don't even know if it was part of the caravan, but there was a couple trucks where the roads were blocked off and two trucks kind of got stopped. And I think there was an exchange and they ended up kind of going through the crowd, and the crowd got out of the way because these were big trucks.
Yep.
And so I don't know if that was part of it, but that's the only video I've seen. So if you have other videos, we'd love to see those.
Yeah, there
videos.
was a few of them, and as soon as there was one video, as soon as they broke through, somebody from either it was Antifa or BLM grabbed a hammer and just hammered somebody's truck, just from anger. And I mean, that's something they don't really want to necessarily report, but at the same time, that's what happened.
Okay.
They were either being forced by force or just being completely blocked off.
Yeah.
And so they had nowhere else to go but to have a way out.
Okay. And then I did see one video, you had told the people in the caravan in Portland to stay away, and basically to stay out of trouble is what seemed like you were trying to tell them, like, don't go by these people, stay away from these people. And obviously that didn't happen, because it appears, at least from what you're saying, that BLM found out the route and ended up getting in the way of where you guys were trying to go.
Exactly. So when we got transitioned into downtown by them blocking the exits to get on the 405, we were stuck downtown. And the problem was we were in standstill, and I knew that it's not a good idea to stay there after dark. But they blocked off all the exits from downtown as well, so we had nowhere to go but stand in traffic.
Okay.
And so after being in traffic for like 15 minutes, we should have been completely through downtown at that point. I got out and I just wanted to see what's going on. And what happened is they had two vehicles that were on green just standing there not moving. So everybody that was in downtown was just in gridlock traffic. And the BLM and Antifa, they were just more and more angry that we're downtown. But at the same time, we can't leave downtown because they're blocking the exits.
Okay.
They're blocking a way out for us. So we were kind of forced into that position. And then after we left downtown, and I actually stopped by Clackamas, because that's where we started the event. There were some people there. I asked them to go home. And I announced on the way to Clackamas that the event is over. Please head home. It was getting dark at that time. It was still like dusk, but it was getting pretty dark. And only when I made it all the way back to where I was staying that I found out there was a shooting that took place. And at that point, I knew that all of our people that were downtown, that were in the gridlock, we were able to make it through. There was probably another 150 cars, 200 cars behind me. For that time, after the police had moved those two cars that were blocking that exit downtown to get out of downtown, people started moving. And I already made it home by the time I found out that there was a shooting downtown.
Okay. And so do you know for sure or not for sure if the guy who was shot and killed was in your caravan or part of the caravan prior to the event ending?
I think he was part of the caravan at one point, but he lived downtown. That's where he lived. And I believe he just hitched a ride to that area. So where the shooting took place, it was, 3 or 4 blocks away from where we ended up going through downtown.
Okay.
So he was on his way home, just like I was, after the event. Whether he was part of it or not part of it, I don't know for sure. But I do know that it wasn't where all of us were driving. He was literally going home because he lived in downtown.
Okay.
So either it was during our caravan, or a day later or a day sooner, he could have got shot by anybody there because he lived downtown.
Okay. And so that's where the media right now, in the articles that were posted, and we'll put an overlay so that people can see, what we're talking about. But they're basically trying to say, well, you organized the event in Portland, somebody got shot and killed, and now you're bringing the chaos and the hysteria to Boise, which again to me was interesting because you'd already done 2 events, right? If you had not done any events in Idaho previously, and then you had this one chaotic incident, then maybe the media can try to play on that. But we wanted you to be able to kind of clear up a lot of this stuff that's been said about you and about your family, to put out your side of the story, which the media often does not let you do, at least in its entirety. So I know one of the other things that was brought up in the media was your voting record, or how often you had voted, and the media is saying that this is the first time that when you voted in 2016 was the first time that you had voted. Is that accurate or not accurate? Or?
It's accurate. I did. I wanted to vote for a couple of presidents. Before that, I wanted to vote for Ron Paul, Mike Huckabee, but they never made it on the ballot. And at that point, I knew that something's wrong with the way the elections are run, or something. And I just lost interest. And when Trump was announced, even when there was like 16 other candidates running, or in the end running, I knew that this is the only guy I would vote for, again. And I was skeptical that he's even going to make it to the ballot at one point, but I was for him from the moment he had announced.
Okay.
And then once he got elected, I said, this is our guy, this is our voice in the White House. This is the guy that we can rely on, that's going to speak for us. And I started getting more and more involved and looking at the political climate and what's going on and who to vote for after that, because I knew that this is the guy that can change something in America.
Okay. Why Trump? You said you were from him from the time he announced. What was it about Trump?
He's a straight shooter. He says it like it is. He doesn't like to polish it and necessarily make it sound nice. He just says it how it is. If it's black, it's black. If it's white, it's white. And it's easy to understand. And he ran a successful business. He has a good record of that. And it just showed that it's not just words, it's actually actions.
Okay. All right. Is there anything else you'd like to add to the people of Idaho, the people of the country who got an introduction to you? Is there anything you'd like to add and tell them?
If you love America, go out and tell people you love America. If you love our president, go out and tell people you love our president. Don't necessarily sit and complain how something is not getting done the way you like it. Go out and do something. That's what I did. Nobody necessarily told me or tapped me on the shoulder and said, go do this. I just felt like I need to. I need to go out and do something for our country. Go out and get my voice heard. And at the same time, what happened is a lot of others came out and their voices were heard, because they were feeling that same burden of going out and supporting our president, supporting our country. And if you like something, go out and say it. If you don't like something, go out and say it. But there should be no violence in disagreements of any opinion. Go ahead and have a debate with your friends and family and coworkers or whoever, and you have that right. And there's a right way to do it peacefully. And if we voted for a president, it shouldn't be a crime to go out and support a president that we've duly elected and that we love and support. And a lot of patriots and God-loving Americans love our president. And I'll say, go out and vote this November. Go out and get your voice heard. That is your voice in your county, in your city that you're living in.
Okay. Well, I appreciate your time, and hopefully this will get your side of the story out. Obviously, the media has already done the other side of the story, so we'll put all these together for you and for the citizens of Idaho. And we thanks for your time.